Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the Newage Legendary Heroes 44 B Monster Clover. So this is Ymir, and this is their take on a Generation 1 shattered glass grimlock figure. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to unbox him live in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, to help you decide how you want to display him. Because he's of course a grimlock figure, we're going to do some comparisons with him and his original Generation 1 self in both modes. And then of course we can see how he looks and compares with some other Newage figures from the same sort of toy lines. We can see how he looks and compares with some other third-party Legends figures like Magic Square and Iron Factory. And then although it's not the same toy line, it is shattered glass, so we can see how he looks and compares with some of the shattered glass figures that have been released in the main line as well. So as you can see, loads of comparisons and quite a bit to get through with this video. So as I start to pack everything away over here, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. And the other thing as well is I need to give Shozy a thanks, because this is who I purchased this from, and as you can see they got him to me nice and safely. And if you're wondering why I've got the shattered glass one, I have no other explanation apart from the fact that at the moment I think it's 35% off on sale, and I haven't got one example of this particular mold yet, and it's looking very, very good. I don't know what all that is on the inside there, to be honest. We'll have a look in a second. But yeah, and this is actually quite a big box for I suppose a Newage Legends scale figure. So let's have a look and see what's going on inside then. So as I say, I'm pretty new to reviewing these Legends scale figures, so also yeah, feel free if I get anything wrong, let me know in the comments and I'll do my very best to correct it for future reviews. Right, this also feels really heavy, so I'm going to get the impression that this has probably got some die cast in it somewhere. Oh wow, he's packed in alternate mode. Okay, that's a bit surprising. Yeah, instructions are in there. I'm just going to take these out over here and pop that there for now. And the good thing about this is if I just drop this down a second, that most of these don't have sellotape. They're just in, yep they are, they're just in like a plastic protection, a bit like a clamshell, but obviously it's not, because you can take it off completely. So we've got the figure itself there, which is all in the bag. Yeah, there's definitely some die cast in there. It feels really quite weighty for what it is. There's the lovely sticker on the top which tells you exactly that, QC passed. We've got accessories there, and indeed we've got some fists and some open hands there. But what we might as well do straight away, because it is exactly that, let's do some first impressions. So he's in alternate mode and he's looking really, really good, to be honest. I like the look of this. He looks quite articulate, to be honest. The weight is definitely coming at the back. I think that's plastic, so it's probably something on the inside. And the chest as well, yeah, that's definitely plastic. The feet itself, you've got the lovely chrome on the toes, which of course you can see are articulate. There's articulation there, but only the one way, so I presume that's obviously for the robot mode. There is articulation in, I suppose, the top of the hips of the main legs. In the small arms, you can see there's an articulation point at what would be the shoulder, maybe at the elbow, and yeah, there's a little wrist swivel. We can open up the mouth. Yes, we can. It's just really stiff. And I've seen pictures of this, so what I think I'm going to do is go straight into having a look at this. Yep, there indeed is an attachment. I'm pretty sure we can put the fire blast coming in off that. Color scheme is brilliant. As I say, this is going to be quite a popular color scheme due to the fact that Hasbro are releasing a shattered glass version of this guy, so this is going to be, I imagine, quite popular very, very soon. In fact, let's go straight away and have a look at indeed the sword and indeed I suppose the flame effects that we can use in the mouth. Now that is a brilliant likeness of the Generation 1 rocket launcher, which typically, I'm just checking my Generation 1 figure and I've got his sword and his double barrel gun in it. So we've got, this is a sword, but I've seen pictures of this. Yep, there we go. We can take that off and it looks like this will go. Yep, there you go. So it looks like he's breathing out, I suppose he's breathing out ice rather than fire. And yeah, his tail, I didn't notice that either. His tail is super articulate. Look, 1, 2, 3 points of articulation in the tail. It's all pieced together really nicely. It looks like you can also put the gun. Yep, you can attach the gun to the back. You can't really attach anything else anyway by the looks of this. No, as I say, let's just bring in a couple of quick comparisons though while he's in this mode, because if he's going to be in the alternate mode, we'll just have a quick look at him in his other mode afterwards, and we won't need to do much more than that. Right, also I think I've seen images of this, so let's have a look. Yes, it looks like we can. This part will lift up and you can even spin around the eyes. Amazing. This is something that I've seen they're doing quite a bit on third party, and I can't remember where I saw it first, to be honest. I think it was the Masterpiece version, where you could turn between the toon and the toy eyes. And I think the orange, because obviously the rest of it, I think it just goes much better. It's how he is in that picture there as well, to be honest. And I'm also getting the feeling that this is a really sort of big legend scale figure, but of course for those of you who are new like me, what they do with these is they scale them all. So of course Grimlock in the cartoon is a huge character. He really is. He's a massive figure. So let's have a quick look. Here's Newage's David, which is of course their take on Optimus Prime, and yeah, he's pretty much as big as him in robot mode. We got Newage's take on Megatron. I'm just going to pop that side. Shockwave. Now unfortunately, as I say, I've got the comic book versions of these. I'd love to get the comic book version of this. And then just for a bit of fun, there is Hasbro's Core Class, and indeed I need to bring this down again even more because it just isn't fitting. Right, there we go. So let's do another couple of quick ones while we're here. So that's a Magic Square Trailbreaker, and then finally, just for third party legends, there's an Iron Factory Phantom, which is of course Stealth Mirage. So he's pretty big, as I say. He's height wise, he's pretty big, but I suppose one of the main ones, and of course there's never been a Shattered Glass G1 Grimlock, so when I bring the comparison in, it is of course just the standard Grimlock, and it's not that much smaller, as you can see. Let's see the lovely touches with the chrome on the toes, which they've got. Brilliant. And the arms obviously look much more articulate. I'm really impressed with this, to be honest. You can even swivel the neck. The head will go, yep, fully up and down, as well as the jaw. I'm just noticing loads of things as I do exactly that, do first impressions with him. Very impressed with this guy, but I think that's more than enough said about his alternate mode. Let's come back and have a look at him in his robot mode. Okay, then we're back, and as you can see, he's in his robot mode already. Quick apologies for no transformation process on this video for a couple of reasons, that is. One is to keep the main length of the video down, and two is not to spoil it for anybody who doesn't want it spoiling for themselves. So, however, there will be a separate tutorial video uploaded, because, do you know what? It's quite intricate, it's quite difficult. These legs here are, although they don't look too great, I'm going to come to that in a minute, they can be quite finicky to get the transformation process. And funnily enough, I mentioned he felt really heavy. It's definitely something to do with these legs. I'm pretty sure, and again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, that these, or something, a lot inside it is die cast, because they feel cold to the touch as well. In fact, the only one thing I'm going to show you with regards to the transformation process is something that perhaps I could have showed you at the beginning, but I didn't know it did it until now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these fists off, and do you know what, this is really clever. So I'll just show you this bit, so you can see that this obviously is, of course, the main legs when he's in dinosaur mode. So when you open this up to get the hands out, what you do is you turn this around that way. There's the triangle back, and what you can actually do, you can put the fists in, because these weren't there at all. Obviously, I've just separated them. You've just literally watched me do that, but I'm going to put the fist in. Let's make sure that's the right one. No, it's not. Let's put the right fist in, pop it in like so, and what you can do is you can close this up over like so. So even though he's in the dinosaur mode, you can still have the fists in. It's pretty clever. It's a bit like, obviously, Hawk and ER, which I didn't know until now, and thankfully Pete helped me out with that. But I've just worked this one out for myself. So you can just spin this around, rotate it 180 degrees, and there you go. You can have his fists in him, and it means obviously that you haven't got to take them off. I just need to attach the other one as well. It is just as simple as a port, and indeed there is the fist that fits in. Now the brilliant thing about this is, of course, it means that you've got full wrist rotation and articulation, but with regards to the rest of the articulation, the head itself is on a mushroom peg, so all the way around, as you can see at the back, up and down. You've got shoulders which will go out to the side. You can just move this back far enough to get full rotation to the side, all the way up. It only gets hindered by these at the back. The elbow joint, as I say, is exactly what I mentioned the other way around. It just goes mainly that way. You've got a swivel though. You've still got like a bicep swivel. You've got a waist swivel. You've got an ab crunch. You've got hip skirts on the front and on the back, so you've got huge range of motion. You can kick these in and out to the sides, etc. They don't get in the way whatsoever. It looks really good. You've of course got your knee bend, your ankle tilt, and your ankle rock. Now the only thing that did surprise me, but I saw it in the pictures, is that, but I'm not going to get, I suppose, get out of jail maybe a little bit too strong, but I'm the same with Hasbro mainline products. If I can't really see it from the front, and it doesn't really bother me, I can see why people would be bothered by that, and that's the only negative thing that I've heard when people talk about this. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be a third-party company that will fill them gaps up. If you can get third-party companies, you know, that'll fill gaps up like that in the back of core class figures, then I'm sure you're going to get them with regards to these as well. But as well as the articulation, let's have a look at him. He looks so good. This color scheme is just really works for it. I'm a huge fan of shattered glass as well, to be honest. So that's another reason perhaps maybe why I got this guy. He feels really robust. He feels really sturdy. The transformation process, as I say, is quite intricate, especially with twisting all these legs and bits around. It's a little bit heart in mouth, but you'll see that in the video itself. There's some open hands as well, which I'm not going to open for now because I don't really need to. So I can, of course, I've put this back together. I took it off obviously to put in his mouth. You can pop that. Oh, I've just separated the hand. Again, let's just line this back up. I was going to say, I suppose maybe that's a bit too loose, but that's me being overly harsh. I was perhaps being a little too heavy-handed with it. Is this going to go in here? It should do. I would have thought it would. Again, unless it is me, or unless it is because it's brand new and it does just need working in. Now, as you can see, I am really struggling trying to get that into his hands. It could be, as I say, that it's just brand new. It doesn't really make much difference. I'll have another go in a second because I'm not going to be displaying him with the sword. I'm going to be displaying him with the gun. So if this doesn't fit in, then something, there you go, that's gone in straight away. So no issues with that. Now this, as I say, is a replica of the Generation 1 rocket launcher, but obviously there's nothing firing there. I'm just going to give this one more quick try with some support underneath. Again, people often ask me, why do I keep these bits in the video? Because I want you guys to see as well. So if you've got the same problem and this happens with yours, it's, you know, it's not too detrimental. It really isn't going to go into his hand. I cannot see why. It should fit, because if I turn it upside down, it'll go around. It might just need a lot more work to it, but I'm going to bring that down right now. You can also, if you want to, you can bring these out a little more to have it look a little bit more G1-esque with the dinosaur hands coming around the sides. So what I mean by that is, with the G1 figure, there we go, you can see obviously the hands did come around and it was pretty hard to move them. But you can also see that, again, for a legend scale figure, he's tall, and it's never more apparent now than when I bring in, again, some of the other G1, not the G1, the other New Age figures. So there is, of course, David. Let's bring Shockwave in as well, to be honest. Towers above him, and indeed towers above their take on Starscream. Lucifer, I think he's called. So yeah, he really is a big legend scale figure. But as I say, they do pride themselves, I believe, what I've read about them and what I've learned about them in such a short space of time, is that they really go for the scale. And that's exactly pretty much how they look side by side in the cartoons. He's much bigger than the Iron Factory take on figures as well. And indeed, let's bring Magic Square in quickly while we're here as well. So that's your third-party legends with the original. Let's have a quick look at some other Grimlock. In fact, no, let's do this first. So let's do some shattered glass figures. So these are, of course, all Hasbro, or yeah, Hasbro and Takara mainline. So we've got Blur, which is a deluxe figure, and as you can see, he's pretty much as tall as him. He's bigger than the well, yeah, he's a deluxe as well, isn't he? Shattered glass Goldbug, and he's also the same size or bigger than Slicer. So yeah, he's a very big legend scale figure, but he's nowhere near as big as obviously the Studio Series 86 version of him. But just very quickly, while we're doing a few more comparisons if we were to do a classics or a Henke version of Grimlock, he's about as big as that as well, as you can see. Right, last couple of comparisons, and this is mainly for people who don't collect any of these toy lines, just to give them an idea. There's a Studio Series Deluxe Bumblebee, who he's in fact towering over. There is a Studio Series Core Class Movie RC, and again, towering above that, much bigger. Yeah, I'm quite surprised, as I say, but again, learning curve for me. Enjoying learning all these things about these figures. I don't think there's much more other comparisons I can do here just to show you or give you an idea. He is definitely bigger than standard Hasbro Deluxe figures that are out at this moment in time. Yeah, as I say, that's pretty much it. I've talked about him more than enough. I like him. I like this mold, and maybe I'm definitely going to see if I can find a comic book one, because that seems to be my favorite deco on these particular style of figures at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Hope the transformation video helps you out as well. And yeah, do you think I should get the comic book version as well? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care.